Rất trọng với rồi.
Oh, I forgot to mute it. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hello. Let's get started. It's so well to see so many people attending our workshop today. I am Vanessa. I'll be the host of today. And the first thing I would like to do is to first introduce our start of the day, Christina. Hey, Christina.
Hi everyone, and my name is Christina, and I'm currently a content creator at Dora. So I am taking charge of making the tutorials for our Dora tool. So I'm also a student from ArtCenter, currently 7th term at interaction design. So today I will be taking charge of the tutorials and like sharing with everyone how you could use Dora to create stunning 3D animation websites. Thank you, Vanessa.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you here. And besides Christina, we also have other team members. There are Kay, Charles, and Isa. Guys, come to say hi.
So, oh, hey guys, I'm Kay, the Vice President of Dora, and today for later, I will introduce you guys the concept of Dora and most importantly, the connection between Dora and students. So thank you. Go ahead.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Charles, the head of product at Dora. It's super exciting and grateful to have so many excellent designers to try Dora to build your own cool website. I will be your supporter on call during this workshop to answer any question you may have about Dora. So go ahead, Isa.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's so great to see such a great turnout, and I'm super excited to learn alongside y'all in today's workshop. I'm currently an undergraduate student at UC San Diego, studying design and interaction, and I may be just as new to Dora as some of you are. So I look forward to learning this tool with you today in this workshop.
Thank you, Isa. It's always so good to see new faces. And Isa will be the teacher assistants of the day. So if you guys have questions, you can raise your hand and ask us in the comment area, and my team will help you to answer your questions. So let's move on. Well, please notice that this meeting will be recorded and we will post it on our YouTube channel. And also feel free to put your pronouns in the meetings area so everyone got to know you. And if you have any questions, remember to set your setting to everyone. So like my team member can help you answer in the comments area. And as we are building a safe environment, please be kind. So here are the topics we're gonna cover today. So first, I would like Kay to give us some introductions of our team and the concepts of Dora, and then we'll give you guys some demonstrations of our user showcase in the past. Then we'll pass it on to Christina, who will be introducing the main features of Dora and also the website you guys are going to make. There will be sessions for you guys to ask questions as well. So, Kay, shall we get started?
Yeah, let's get started. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So, can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, I can see that.
Great.
Okay. So today I'm gonna talk about the connection between Dora and students, like what Dora gonna do for students and what apart us from other products. So let's continue. Okay, so Dora is actually a product for designers to make creative websites. So for the creative websites, I mean you can insert your real 3D models into the editor and make interactions with that. So sometimes it can be a fully animated website page and it can be imagined before, but it's actually happening in Dora and you don't need to write a line of coding. You can just click the publish button and you will get the final website of your own. Okay. So let's continue. So I think today, many of you guys have been using some other products like Squarespace, Cargo. So why do we need Dora to be the nice website builder? And so I'm going to introduce the concept before the websites are fully 2D or they have a little bit animation, maybe they have pictures and some paragraph tags. But for a long time, we feel websites look similar to each other. But for now, in Dora, we are bringing a new concept as 3D websites and also animated websites. So let me showcase some Dora example. So first one is we got the example called the table tennis example that is made by our design team. And this one is actually maybe we can go to another one. I think it's loading. Okay. Okay, so this one is actually a game design website we create for a concept. You can insert your real 3D character model into the website and tell the story to your user, what is the character and what's the story. And when people scrolling down the page, they will get to know the character and they will feel familiar with the character. So it only costs 1 hour to build a website like this. And for your audience, they only take 1 minute to understand what is the concept of your character. And next to the other one, this one is for architecture studio. So if you have a model for your clients, you just insert your 3D model into that and you can showcase your portfolio by using your real model. And this portfolio is fully made by this model and people will feel they are walking into the building and they know every perspective of your work. Okay. Let's say the fun one, this table tennis one. Can we see that? Okay, so let's say this dog. Yeah, so this one is our example we made for fun because we don't want a tool to limit designers' creativity. We really want them to have their ideas and make it shining in the website. So we made this one, and this doc is actually 3D models, and we can see there are a lot of interactions. And when we go through that, we read the story of this doc. Yeah, let's go back to the. I think I may pass this one. Okay. Okay,
Sorry,
so I'm
guys,
gonna.
my internet. Yeah, sorry, guys, my internet is kind of slow. So I'll let Crystal to send the link in the comment area so you guys can take a closer look on each of the site that Kay introduces us. Yeah.
You can have an immersive way to like look inside the case and to stay yourself. Yeah, so I'm gonna make an inclusion with the website we just showcase, like what's the difference between the 2D sites, because like in this showcase, we definitely use 3D models, like the real 3D models into our editor, and we make rich interactions. People can feel like they're really interacting with the web, not only reading the web. They're like, when they scroll it, they're feeling the website is moving with them, and they are like walking into the website. And another one is like we create the creative freedom for users. Like they can use the way they are using Figma and get the same design and publish in one click. So that's gonna be the final design. You don't limit it by your like coding skills and other skills, but you can still do the like most fantastic web. Okay, and another one is the efficiency boost. It's like even you before in like you do the design part one time and you do the like developing one time. And for now in Dora, you only do this one time in Dora and you can publish it directly. And for the you can see like there is a lot of animations because our users always use like fully animated for their website, and they can control that by a like keyframe panel. Like Christina will show us that later, and you will see that you can control every animation in one place, so it will like not go apart there and not apart another place. So let's continue. So I'm gonna share with you guys, like we already have users from 20 countries. So Dora is a worldwide product, and we build that community for different culture and different users. So like, okay. And when we building the product, so we have been talking to like over hundreds like top studios around the world, and some of them are from awards. They're jury members of awards and Studio of the Year. And from their inspiration, like we know that they really want the tool to like reach out the like the limits of websites. They want the fun and interesting websites. So and they told us like before they need a team to develop a top websites like we just showcase. And for now, they only need one designer with the idea to build the websites. Okay, let's go. Okay, so there is a lot of Dora ambassador around the world. They have the same hope with us, and we are on the road together to build the community. And some of them are some of them are in Twitter to post our ideas, and some of them made the tutorials in YouTube to teach people how to use Dora. So if you are interested to joining us as an ambassador, feel free to click the link like Crystal will send that in the chat box. So you can apply to join us and on the road with us to developing this tool. Yeah. Okay, we also have student leader in different top university, and they are bringing Dora into their education process because we think like students are in their like early stage of career, and they really need the most efficient way to do their work. And if we tell them if we tell them early, so they can have the best work way in the first. Yeah. So that's why we're doing the student leader program. So if you are interested to, you can apply to join us. Yeah, so For today's workshop is like a teaching process, but we have another way to do workshops for later. So if you are interested to build a website workshop with us together, you can like contact us and we can maybe have some ideas brainstorming together. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kay, for your very informative informations. If any of the things that are interested to you, or you want to like pave your career path in website designs, you can scan the code here. As we are expanding our team, we have the opportunity for product design intern opening. And if you want to like, if you doesn't have the time, or you also want to like, you also share the same concept with Dora, you can also scan the community code and become one of our ambassador as well. So yeah, guys, you can take a screenshot of the QR code and join us for later. Yeah, really looking forward to see new faces around us. So today we'll be having a challenge in the workshop where you're gonna rebuild Christina web page on our Discord channel. I really encourage you guys to participate this challenge, as our grand prize is the Apple HomePod Mini, and we're really looking forward to see the final project as well. A friendly reminder that the deadline will be the 3rd of March on our Discord channel. So stay tuned for that. So these are the main features that we'll be covering today. They are the screen layout, the 3D, and also the keyframes on Dora. I'll pass it on to Christina, and Christina will show you guys the website we're gonna build and some of the sessions that are important.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. And I'm just going to take on this process. And so, for today, we are building the website. Let me show you right now. So this will be the final website that we are building. So click on the wrong page. And so before everyone starts, if you haven't get into registration, Crystal will be posting a link in our chat, and then you can go and register through this. And inside that, you would see there's a like pre-built project in it. It's called Dora in ArtCenter workshop. And after you click in that, you will see like the project for today we'll be working on. It should look something like currently I have like this. We have different pages, and now as everyone is going into like the registration process, I will just show you our final page. And so this is the website that we will be building today. So it consists of like a 3D model animation. And then when you scroll, you could also interact with different items. And there's also like scroll animations. And that's all. And also for if you have any questions during this process, feel free to ask in the chat, and our teaching assistant will be helping us to explain any questions. And we will also have a like specific time for you to ask further questions after this demo session ends. So now let's start it. So I want to start with sharing with everyone our main features first. So this is like the editor. I will bring everyone through some of our important parts. So if you have used any other design tools like Figma, Adobe XD, this should be really familiar to you. If you haven't, it's easy to start with, just follow me. just follow my share. So on the left-hand side, you could see there's like pages and there's layers. And on the right-hand side, there's like, the basic information of this page. And to start with the first feature, I'm going to talk about constraint layout. So Dora's constraint layout is a powerful mechanism for designers to quickly build complex responsive layouts with simple drag and drop. So the reason that this is kind of like important because it's kind of a little bit different than you make your designs in Figma. In Figma, it's like absolute positions, but actually when you publish and you do develops, you have to think about, like you will have users that has different device size. For example, some of the people use phone, some of people use a small computer, some of people have like large screens. So this requires your website page to be responsive so you can match their content. So having a constraint layout is going to let your page not set into a fix, but it could be responsive and like put things in a relative size. That makes sense. So to start with, our first part is called the position constraint. So if I click on any of the layers, you would see 4 dots around. And this means that you can fix this blue item to any other items you want. Now I'm just clicking on the right-hand side of this, and this will show me like other white dots are the place that where I can fix to. So I'm going to fix to this orange one. And on the right-hand side, there's the details showing that, I am fixing this to the right-hand side. So when I drag this orange, no matter where I drag, it always keeps it in in the same distance. And if I do 2 constraints for the same thing, like having a vertical constraint and also a horizontal constraint, this will keep it like super fixed wherever you are. And for example,
is there a limit to the number of constraints you can place on one object?
Yeah, so actually each object has 4 sides, so the total you can put is like 4 constraints.
That makes sense.
And for align center, if I connect like this, like the top to the top and the bottom to the bottom, this will make like this always center to this orange. Even if I like change the size of this, it's always still in the center as well. So this is kind of pretty useful when you have some dynamic contents. For example, you have cards that will change the size all the time, like longer text, shorter text.
So that makes things like responsive, right?
Yeah, right. And you can reuse your components, and it's gonna make the design easy. For the align center side, this means that you can also like connect the 2 sides of one item to only one side. So for example, now I connected the left and right to the one side of this orange of this yellow icon. And if I change the side, like the text in here, it's still always like centered here. And next, about the constraint, we have the width field. So for example, here are 3 items. And then if I click on fill, which is under basics, I change the width of this into fill space. It's gonna automatically fill up the gap. And if I drag this, then it's also gonna change the size as well. And for hug, if I want, for example, now I set up the content as hug, like the width and the height. And if I drag this, it's gonna make this like, the yellow box is gonna follow like the size all the time. And if you have like lots of icons, you have lots of text you want to put like one by one, like for example, your tools. And so the way to do that is select all of them. And on the constraint, click on distribute horizontal spacing.
this will create an equal space between them. And you could also like just set up the size like this, and now they're also really well connected, and you can drag and drop them together at the same time. And last, I would be talking about units. The default unit here in Dora is pixels. However, many times we actually use VH and VW and percentage as well. So VH is relative to the viewport height. So viewport is like the current size of your browser. If you shrink it, then the viewport size is changing as well. And VW relates to the viewport width like this. And the viewport with the full width is always 100. So if you do 50, that means like that is half the size of your viewport width. And percentage is like if you have something inside a container, it's relative to the size of the parent element. And now I'm just gonna do a simple demonstration of like, what is the difference between like the relative values such as viewport width and like pixels. So here I have a page, and I want to create a basic like shape here. And I want this shape to be 50% of this page. So I'm just gonna eyeball it like this, and I'm gonna put it here. And then I'm gonna create another box. But this time I'm gonna set it as 50 VW. Oh, 50 VW. So currently it looks the same, like nothing is happening. But if I change the canvas size, the device, for example, I change to an iPhone, it's gonna be different. So the one I did not set like into a responsive value, it's gonna be at the same size as originally. But now it's not what I want, because I want it to be 50% of the width. But this one, if I set 50 VW, it's gonna be the incorrect size. So if I change it to any random thing, it's gonna always be like 50% of this. So that is the meaning of using our responsive values. So it's really useful when you do the like backgrounds, you do images that you want to be in a specific proportion.
Makes sense.
Next, sorry. And next, we'll be moving on to keyframe. I think that is also one of the reasons that everyone is really interested to Dora, is where you do like animations. So the keyframe is kind of similar to the After Effects animation timeline. Well, in After Effects, it's like time-driven, like seconds, minutes, and in here it's scroll-driven instead of time-driven. So the thing that determines like how your animations happen is by like how many you have, like how long, how far away you have driven in this, you have scrolled down in this page. So now we can do some start with. So I want this orange circle to go to the left side when I scroll down. So I'm gonna, if you select this and you open this tab here, there's the keyframe panel, and you can add a keyframe at wherever you want. So when you drag this indicator, you could see there's a like dashed line moving. This is the thing that indicates like where your browser shows when you scroll. So if I'm here, this means that my browser is actually in this place. So now I want this animation to happen when this browser is around here, like when the white block is at the bottom. So I'm gonna add a keyframe at here. And I'm gonna move on and say if when the orange box reaches the top of the page, I want it to be on the left-hand side. So now I add another keyframe, and I drag this thing to the right. And I change the radius to 0. So it becomes back a square. So now let's preview like this. If I scroll down like this, then it's gonna gradually become a square.
Oh, wow. So the keyframes were just you placing one shape at one position and then placing another one at a different time. It just helped interpolate between those two keyframes that you placed.
Right, it will create automatically for you.
Oh, that's handy.
And for example, now I want to have a sticky background. And so I'm just gonna create a background for this part. Like, for example, like this. And I'm gonna place it in the back of these two. So I want it to be always following the view. Like this is always stick. It's kind of useful for you have backgrounds, you have like scrolling animations, or you have like headers and stuff. You want it to be sticky and fixed all the time. So in here, instead of clicking the add keyframe, you use add a fix relative to the viewport. So it's gonna fix, so it's gonna show like this. So now as I drag, it will be following me. It's not like this thing going away, but it's gonna follow me all the time. And if I wanted to unfix it, I just click this pin again. Then it's gonna just leave the viewport. It does not bring this thing forward anymore.
Wow, that's a constraint, but for animation, right? Feels kind of similar to constraint.
And next we'll be moving on to the 3D part. So here, with Dora's, if you have, I don't know if everyone have did some like 3D animations inside your website. I don't know if like you're familiar with the process. It's like you have to do everything and then create the animation video, export it as a video, and then change it into the image sequence. And then you upload this animation sequence to your like website builder, and you set the first frame, you set the last frame, and if there's any problem or you're not satisfied with the camera movement, you go back and set everything up again. So now with Dora, if you could just import your 3D files. So this allows you to set up like the motions, like the positionings, all the like camera movements just inside Dora. So this will make your process like less back and forth. So here I have a 3D widget imported. And now if I open this 3D widget, there's two parts. One is the camera layer. So this controls the camera. That is like how you see this. And the 3D scene is like a playground that consists of our model. And you can just like copy different models, like change the position of them. And you could use the top, rotate it. Or you could rotate the model itself. And you could also like set up the scale of the like this. And I will demonstrate you like a really simple way to create animation now. So now I have this like huge alien right now. I'm gonna add a keyframe. And I wanted to kind of, I'm gonna add a keyframe at when it starts entering the view here. I'm gonna add a keyframe first. Then it's gonna follow me to go down. So now, for example, when I'm at 130, I'm gonna change the view of this, like I'm going to change the size of this alien.
Guys, let us know if the speed here it's all right in the chat box.
And now I'm just gonna put this here, and I'm gonna rotate this alien like this. And if we go into the preview and see this, it's gonna show like a huge alien at first.
Wow.
And
So
then
we're
as
really
I scroll down,
yeah, we're like building
yeah,
on previous like keyframe concept, and it's actually you don't need to do anything to do the animation in between, huh?
yeah, and you can just always go back and change what you want, like all the time. So there's the small tips. It's just like a 3D scene is supporting to import multiple 3D models, and there are some files to choose with. There are different formats. And for better support, we suggest that the file should be less than 15 megabytes. And to ensure that the site performs best in this version, we also it would be great if you only have like less than 4 3D widgets. So 2 or 3 will be a good number, but you can import as much models within one widgets. And next, I will be moving on to the component part. So it's always like you need to use, there's like different, there's always times that you want to reuse the same thing that you design. For example, like cards, navigations, and all the pages. So having a component allows you to just organize things, and you don't have to do design again. So say if you have a card design or a header design in one page, you put it in like different pages. But the next day you wanted to change it, or your client told you, or your client, your teacher tells you to change that, then you have to go back to all the pages to change it. But with component, you can just change it once. So it's gonna save your time. So now I'm just gonna simply demonstrate how you could use the component. So the way to create component is just to select the layers you have, and click on the button on top, on which is on our tool, and click create component. It's gonna bring us to this page. This page is gonna help you manage all your stuff. So now I want to create a button that is gonna change the color when I hover on it. So if I click add, it will create another state. So this is the state for the hover. And then I click on it, I change the color into a lighter blue. Then I click on the original one, and I drag this lightning. I'll just start from here. Interaction, click, switch component state, and change this to hover. And now if I go back to this page, and I use this component, it's just like finding it out. And I go to the preview. And I hover on it, the color is gonna change. And if I could also like override this button. Like I'll join. So this allows you, so this is gonna like really, I'm just gonna call it a really sustainable way, because you can just use one thing for a lot. And so that's all of our like basic tutorial part. And I'm just gonna move on to our demo part. So it's designing our website, this part. And so everyone, you could open this website and you would see a thing called the practice page, which should be the home page if you open your project. And you could just follow me to do this tutorial. And there are some like assets I placed around the site, and you can feel free to grab it when you need them or as a reference.
Are they components already?
Yeah, there are components already. Yeah, and I'll give everyone some time.
Right. Let us know if anyone have signed up early. You can chat. You can contact us in the chat box, so I can like give you the copy link of the project, so you can get the resources here. Yeah. Sorry, Christina, you can continue.
Sure. If everyone has opened this page already, I will be just starting to build this. So the way I like to build websites is to put them into different sections, like section 1, section 2, section 3, and like each full screen page is like one section. So this helps me to manage them and do any changes in further like time, or if I hand it to someone else, it's easier to understand. So now I will be doing the first section, and I'm just gonna drag a box. And I'm gonna set the width to 100 VW and the height to 100 VH. And I'm gonna close the color of this box. And I'm gonna set a constraint, add it to the left and set it as 0. Actually, you could also click on this, align left, align horizontal. So this is like a short key. And now I'm gonna do the align top as well. And if you click on the gray canvas outside, you would see the overall setting of this page. And I'm gonna change the color of this to here. I wrote down the color code here. This is the color we will be using in today's website. I'm gonna set the whole background as this dark purple. And so in the first container, I'm gonna change the name as well.
Wait, Isa, I can tell that you have some questions.
I guess like you said there are a lot of assets here, but I'm not sure like if for example, I'm not sure if I don't have any like 3D assets on hand right now. Are there any built-in ones that I could like use just within Dora?
Yeah, sure. So I will later on in this part, I will go into like where you bring in the asset models. But here there's another page on this top left part that says pages, and go to 3D models, and later we'll be entering that page to copy one model out to use in our page. And so after I build this section 1, I'm gonna type in our title line, alphabet. And so the size I'm using here is 220. And I'm gonna create a left constraint and a top constraint for this. So as always, important to create like 2 constraints for your object so it's well fixed, like one on the vertical part, one on the horizontal part. And here, you could see the value here as currently default is a like pixel value. But if you click on here, it will show other values. And if you select it, it's gonna just help you calculate and change into the other value. So you don't have to convert by yourself. This is easier. And after I fix this, I'm gonna lock this for currently. so I don't accidentally change something inside. And now I will be creating the like fixed navigations and stuffs. And I will be doing this menu first. So the size.
So what we did earlier with the constraints, sorry, what we did earlier with the constraints, what does it actually do? Does it make the text like stay in that corner relative to the viewport?
Yes. So if, for
okay.
example, you do like 5VH, it's like 5%, like no matter what the device is, it's like around 5% of that place.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And so now I'm gonna type in the text and the size is 32. And I'm gonna type in about. And I want to create I'll demonstrate you how to like make the hover effect, which is like this. When you hover, there's gonna be a line crossing it. And so click on this text and we create a component. And inside this, because there's like a hover effect, so I'm gonna create a container.
Wait, sorry, how did you create that component?
Oh yes, let's go back. So click on this stuff. Oh, I'm gonna create a new one so it's easier to understand. Just click on this on top, like the one is on the right hand. Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying.
And I'll go to the main component here right now. And I'm going to create a component that is a white color. And the size of the width will be, the height of the width will be 4. Oops. It should be 4. Yeah, it's 4. And then I'm gonna center it. So click on the vertical and horizontal center right now. And then I'm gonna, because it's like appearing from nothing to something. So in the first frame, like in the default, we will show it as 0. So you don't see it when you don't hover it. So let's set it as like 0 pixels. And I'm gonna set this component frame as HUD contents as well, because I'm gonna change the contents in here later on. So if I change it as HUD, like no matter I have longer words or I have shorter words, the container size will be correct. And now I'm gonna click on this and add another state. So I select this container one and I set the width as fill space. It's gonna fill up the space right now. And so if I click on this in event and I click on interaction and I say when I hover, it will switch the component states from default to state 1. So that's the way you create this component. And I'm just gonna create the rest of them as well. Feel free to just grab the one aside.
So these are all like instances of the component you just made, right?
Yes.
They'll have the same like interactions.
Right. And when I have 3, I'm gonna set distribute vertical setting. And I'm gonna use Command G to group them. I'm gonna give them a name, it's like the menu part. And I'm gonna place it around here. So when there are containers overlapping, like now we have the page and also the viewport, like they have an overlapping site. Dora would ask you, oh, because there's the same site here, which one is the thing that you actually want to connect to? Do you want to connect to the viewport or do you want to connect to the page? So now we want to connect to the viewport.
Why is that?
Oh, so connecting to the viewport means that it always stays with your view. Like if you scroll down, your like this menu will always be in the page, no matter like you're on top or you're on the bottom.
So it's kind of like fixing to when you're scrolling versus actually having it scroll with
Yes,
you.
correct. And I'm also gonna do this one. So now I'm gonna create it. So the way to use the components you have created is just to go into components and just grab them out. And I'm gonna do type in. I will set it as distribute horizontal spacing. I'm gonna group them, and then I'm gonna turn it. So it's interesting how you see there's a two outer frames of this same same group. So the reason why we have two frames here, so this one is the frame, like the contour frame of the your object itself, and this frame that did not move after I rotated is the frame that you use to do constraints. So the reason why you want to have like two like you want to have well I would say it's the reason why Dora created two frames for this like when you rotate stuff is, for example, I have an object that is constrained and then I want to rotate it after I do some animations. So if you only have one frame, then your constraint is actually gonna change as you rotate it. So this is gonna this separates out the the animation thing and also the constraint. It's gonna fix yourself always there, even though you rotate it.
Oh, I can see how it could get complicated, like as you start introducing more complex animations. That makes sense.
Right. And so I'm gonna place it here, and I'm gonna fix it to the viewport as well. And one more thing is that we actually I think many of us is doing like our portfolio website, so you want to link your create a link to, or maybe a link to other of your social medias. So here the way to create that is like, oh, if I click on this component and I want to add a specific interaction for this component, like this instance, this state, this instance, it's not like for others. I just click on this specific one and add event. I add interaction, and when I click, we could use open link. And I, for example, here I say www.dora.run. So this is our official website. So this allows you to jump into your any website you want. So yeah, your social medias. And I have a small hint text here as well, so I'm gonna put it in. It's called scroll down.
You know, I'm wondering if that linking thing, does it work the same way for linking to different pages within your website, or is that a different interaction altogether?
Yeah, so if you click on this and you say interaction, and you unclick, you can say, oh, go to page or change open link. So it's slightly different. So if you want to go to other page, like outside of your website, it's open link. If it's page inside here, so here we could say, oh, target is maybe the 3D models page, and then animation, you could get that as well.
I see. Sorry if I'm asking you to re-clarify things. It's
no worries. When you ask, it's like helping everyone to understand.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of content here, a lot of really cool stuff. So
next, we will be bringing in our 3D assets. So if everyone could go to this 3D model page, and we have this 3D models. And you can just click on this and then just copy. Use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V to copy this. And I actually want to slightly size up this, so I'm just going to drag it. Oh, here I would also set it as just fill, let the width fill the space. And then the height would be 100 VH. Okay, cool. So now, if you have seen our finished website, there's actually a rotating. So this means this is that Dora supports any pre-built animations. For example, if you're using Blender to build your 3D models, you could make some cool animations inside Blender already. For example, like rotating, or say like your person, your animal is walking, or say your product, like opening your product whatsoever. So if you click on open this 3D scene, click on this specific object. On the right hand side, there's a section called 3D animations. So we have one pre-built animation right now. So we would open this, like switch on, then it starts to rotate, and it will be in an like auto loop form. And if I click on this star, I could set up the speed as well. So for example, I wanted to like turn super fast. I could do like 2, then it turns like faster. Because it's a bit dizzy for me. So I'm just gonna, to see it keep rotating, I'm just gonna close it for this moment.
yeah, that was pretty fast.
Yeah. So I'm gonna also fix this to the art viewport as well. Just drag it to here and select viewport top. And then the right hand side as well.
Is there a reason why you're constraining it to the top and the left every time?
Yeah, so it's actually the same if you do like bottom and right. I guess that's just like whatever you like to choose. But just as long as you do a vertical and like a horizontal, then that should make sense. That should work. And see now how when I drag the timeline like this, it's gonna always follow. And so now I'm going to do the section 2. And before I start the section 2, I'm going to demonstrate how I make the component. It's this one. So where like when you hover on it, there's an animation coming, and the text is changing the perspective. So now I'm just gonna type in the text first, all these in. And the size here is 140.
Before we move on, would it be possible to see like if we can import how we could import our own 3D assets? I think some people might be wondering, like I'm wondering if I have my own, how do I import it?
Yeah, so the way to do it is just to click on here, and then you can just draw out a 3D widget, and then you see this import 3D model, then you can put on it.
Oh, okay. So it's just in the top bar. That makes sense.
Right, correct. Just remember this cube. It's like stands for 3D.
Cool.
And so for this audience, just now you would see the text is in a like perspective way. So here under basics, there's click on this icon. So you would see this X, Y, Z. And if I just drag it, then it's like this. It's just gonna change its perspective. And now if I set it as a component, and I'm gonna bring in a image for it, and the way to do image is click on this icon and then just drag the size you want. Here and then on the right hand side assets, you could select a source. So you could upload your own image, or there are some built-in images we have here as well. So I'm using this image like this. And I'm gonna set the constraint as well. And I'm gonna put this in the bottom layer. And so now I set the opacity to 0. And I add a state. And now the text is gonna be like in normal display. So I change here again. I put it back to 0. And here is the image. Let's bring it back, set the opacity as 100. And then I do like this, I drag. So it's gonna have like a slightly moving effect when I hover it. And I'm gonna add the state. When I hover it. So there you could do other ways to do your effect. I'm just using hover right now, but you could do like click, mouse enter, mouse leave, or you can just explore by your own. Just play with them. So I'm just gonna switch the component state. And here you could do a like slight animation as well, like ease in, ease out.
Pretty similar to Figma. So
yeah,
this is like familiar territory.
And
guys,
if we
let
go
us
back,
know. Sorry. Guys,
No
let
worries.
us know the pace is all right for everyone, because we could slow down for you guys if you guys think it's going too fast. Because I know some of you guys been following Christina, so you can like put your comment in the chat box so we can adjust the pace.
Personally,
Okay.
I'm also struggling a little to keep up. So yeah, don't be afraid to put your questions or like ask us to slow down a little.
Yeah, sure. I'll be aware of it. And so now we could use drag in this component. You could like override it if you want to, like in here we have different ones, so you could actually just override it and say like, oh, type in the contents. And here I'll just be using the one we have built already, and I'm just drag inside. And I'm gonna add a constraint to here, and then open this section 1, like unlock it. So I'm gonna add it. So usually if you use the right hand side, it selects the closest container for you. So now it's like selecting it to the like 1 as section 1. I'm going to do the name as well here, section 2.
So why do we need to create these 2 different sections?
So I would say in like further scenarios where you have like a super long page, and then if you build like lots of stuff, and if you don't do sections, then like it's easier like just to drag things, move things around, like organize them. If I did this on the top, and maybe next day I want to put it on the bottom, something like that.
Okay. I thought it had something to do with like making sure it's constrained to the viewport or constrained to the section correctly.
yeah, that's also like part of it. So see, I'm just gonna change the size of the page, so it's gonna. Oops, sorry, something falls out in my room. And so I'm just gonna set the page height. So two ways to do it. One is like by dragging this, you can do like freehand. One is on the side. You could set like size. I'm gonna set it as 500 VH. So 500 VH means like which is 5 full frames of scrolling it. So that will be all I need for today's website.
Oh, Christina, could you repeat the animations that so basically if we create a 3D model in Blender, how do we import it in Dora? There's one user being asking that in the chat box.
Oh yeah, sure. So for import, just click on this cube and then you just drag something like the size you want. And then it's gonna have a hint to tell you about like import a 3D model. My web is a bit slow.
I
and my
think the
home
question is about how to import model with the animation.
Oh, cool. That makes sense. Sorry, I misunderstood. So it's just to open this model and then click on the object. So now this one was named like glass something. And then click on this. And if you have the animations already, when you like set it up in Dora, in Blender, when you export that, there would show up on the right-hand side, says 3D animations, and then you can just open it. Let me know if that makes sense or that answer your questions, or we can have further explanations about if that is not working for you.
Yeah, I think it answers. I see
Okay,
that
cool.
in the chat box. Yeah.
Okay. So we will be moving into our third section. I'm gonna create another section. The size would be 100 VW. 100 VH. Then I'm gonna change the background color to black. And now I'm gonna set the alignment to section 2. So if you see here how we had this ray thing stretching out, now we'll be building this like scrolling animation right now. So inside this, let me change the naming first. Just always remember to change your naming if you could have it. And inside this, I would create a gray box. Feel free to change any of these into the colors you want. I'm gonna set the width as 85 VW, and I'm gonna center it right now with align horizontal. Oops. Okay, click on the wrong place. Yeah. Horizontal centers and vertical centers. So this is in like the fully center of the staff. And now we since it's from nothing to having something first, so we will start with having the height of this as 0. And I'm gonna name it as gray stretch. Stretch. Let me check. Okay, so it's always good to check if your when you play, sometimes you might click on have a wrong setting. It's always important to check if you have put your constraints right or onto the things that you want. So now I think I now have to change it because I don't think I put it on the place where I want. So I'm gonna adjust it.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I follow. What are you adjusting right now?
Oh yeah. So it was like just now, I think I accidentally click it on the wrong, like I just like set the constraint accidentally, I align it to another wrong thing. So if you have set it correctly, I just don't mind this part. It's just when you export stuff, it's always good to check. Like you could just always, when in the middle of building something, you can always just preview what you have built already. So in case you build the whole website and you found like maybe the first or second step is having some accidents, then you don't have to go back, maybe like delete all the things and rebuild it again. And so now we will be doing the third part. And so I'm going to start at a fix at this part, going to 199, select section 3 and add a keyframe. And then I'm going into 200 and fix it relative to the viewport with this pin. So I'm gonna play it once to make sure it's following. Yes, so it's following correctly as what I want. So
Oh, so at that 200 point that you just designated, it will start following the viewport, that black shape.
yes, like at that moment.
Okay.
So at 200, I'm gonna select this gray stretch as well. So I'm gonna give it a keyframe, add a keyframe. And I'm going to 300. So a quick way to like move, navigate along this timeline, this indicator, is to click shift when you move it. So it's gonna attach to all the tens. So it's easier to select. And here I want to add another keyframe. And for the height, now I will be changing it to 85 VH. And here, I actually wanted to use a gray, so I would change the color. And here at the first frame, we will set it as 0. So as I scroll, it would stretch it out. So it's just like the way just now I did the having the circle becoming to the square. It's just having the first shape on first and then on the another shape on the second frame. And next, let's create this stripe animation. So let me show you what it should look at the final. This would be moving across the page. So I'm gonna just create a stripe. I'm gonna take 200 pixels by maybe 2,205, 2,500 pixels. And I'm gonna select the color as well. Let me know if you have any questions about this animation part. And I'm just gonna copy it for 5 times.
There actually is a question about like how this would all look on mobile view, especially specifically like the second section, having images that pop out when you hover over the text. Like how do we deal with that when it shrinks to a mobile view?
So if you are on mobile view, it's actually like you have different kinds of interactions because mobile view does not have hover, so it could possibly change into a press. When you press on the text, then it's gonna change, or you could change it into just when it comes and it just pops up automatically, etc. I think our team can also share about like further like ways you could like having interactions on your mobile.
Yeah, I guess the participant was also asking like, you know, just in terms of layout, would you need to fine tune things or does it just adjust automatically?
Yeah, so when you have most of your stuff, your things set up in such like responsive view, supposedly most of them should fit, but it's always you always need to switch between the use this tab and then switch between different views and just to make sure like go back and forth and check if the details are perfect.
Sure. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And then, so now I'm gonna select all of them and I'm gonna just group them together. Right. And I'm gonna turn them. Because as an animation is having a 300, so I'm just gonna drag it to 300 first, confirm where it is right now, like this. And then I'm gonna add the constraints. Align to section 3.
So we're not aligning to the viewport this time?
Yeah,
Sorry.
so yes. Because the section 3 is aligned to the viewport already, so you just put it inside like following section 3 because it's part of it.
Oh, I see. So it only
Yes.
follows the section instead of like
Yes.
time.
I'm also gonna bring this into section 3. Section 3, right? So now I have two sides aligned. And I'm gonna add a keyframe for it. And add 400. Now I'm just gonna drag it. So actually, if you just create changes on any other frames, and if you do changes, it just automatically brings like help you set up the keyframe. Like just now, I actually did not click on it, but I just drag it so it changes, and it adds for me. And now let's kind of preview it. So when it arrives 300, it's gonna start to move across it.
So all you did was you dragged the viewport to your desired position and then you moved the position of your little stripes.
Right.
And
That's
it just more animated everything.
And so see how there is actually an extra stuff outside of the view. So if you don't want it to show like when you are not on, like you don't want to show like things out of this section, you can use this click content and then set it on both 300 and 400. It's like make sure you have set them on all your keyframes. It actually follows already. So now you don't show unless it's like inside.
No, so it's like clipped.
Just yeah, right. It's like masking, clipping is.
Masking.
And if anyone have any questions in the section, please let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just gonna scroll through everything and make sure that I have all my settings correct. And here I need to adjust the layer order because I want the balloon to be on top. So I need to bring this section 3 to the bottom. So this would make sure that this is not like hiding it. And then I think we have all of them correct. So let's publish it. So next we'll be moving into the publish part. So publish is like really simple. Just click on this publish button on the top right. And if you haven't published before, then it just looks something like an off. And because just now I have published it already, so I just turn it on already. And if you don't have your domain, you could use the domain from Dora. So now I have this one generated by Dora. If you have your own domain, you could use this one, custom domain, click to add your domain, and this will create it for you. And then if you click on this arrow, it just brings you to the website that we have published. And also remember to set the page you will be on as the home page. The way to manage that is just to hover on that specific page, right click and set as home page, and that should work. And so now the page should look like this. And do hoverings, and you could like have these effects, and then there's the scroll animation. And next, I also want to share about some of the further ways you could animate with Dora. So I'm gonna bring in another model here, so it kind of looks more interesting. So I'm gonna select this balloon, and then let me do something like this. I'm going to this 3D model page first. Oh no, it's under my files, and I'm gonna import another 3D model. So for example, oh, here's the thing. Let me talk about that too as well. So just now I talked about how you could do import a widget by click on this cube. And if I want the same scene, like under the same widget, to have two models, so the way to do that is by double clicking on this file. So it enters this 3D edit view. And then if you click this import 3D model, this brings you and you select the model you want. So this is importing two objects in the under the same view. It's not like creating another widget. This file is actually pretty small. So now I'm just gonna delete this one. I actually want to create an effect like it's coming forward. So I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna put it from here, and then I'm gonna go to add a keyframe, like at 0. Add a keyframe for this bike, and then I'm gonna to edit it again. Click on this, it just enters for you. And I'm gonna open this animation as well. However, it's gonna be slightly different. So just now the animation I show you is the way to use the loop animation. But now what if I want to control the animation by myself? Like I want to control the speed of it playing. So we could turn off this auto play. And now it creates like it has different frames of your animation. It's like an image sequence. So for example, at the first frame, I'm at 1. And I go to the next frame, say 60. Go to 60. And then I bring this spike forward. Like here. Then I'm gonna increase this spike slightly since it's closer. And then I click on this again, this animation again. I drag it to the last frame. See how the animation is like moving when I drag this? And so this means that it's happening.
Is it the number of frames? Like, what does that number represent?
Yeah, so if you have built your animations in like Blender or say whatever place like Cinema 4D, and then you actually have the time of your animation, for example, 3 seconds and or say like 10 seconds, and when you export it, it's just gonna change into frames. So that's I think you understand it correctly. It's just like the length of this animation.
Okay, I was thinking like frames per second. So that dictates the speed as well.
Right. And so now if I drag this animation, see how it's like in really far away at first. And then as I bring it in, you can see how it's like writing this one. And so that is also another way to do your animations. And the last one, the last way to do your animations is to like turn your just scenes. Well, I think actually this just combines 2 of them. At first I wanted to introduce them separately, but I just came up with a thought and I put them together. So it's like other than using so let me just make a conclusion. It's using like loop animations you have already, like what we have with this like inflated balloon, and you could use scroll animations for your like use scroll animations to control the animation happening. And also it's just like you can just turn your view, also like what we had with the alien before. That's the way of like controlling like how the camera is moving. So that's the total 3 ways to do that. And
What do you mean how the camera is moving, I guess? Could you clarify that?
oh yeah, sure. So let me set this up again so I can demonstrate it again for you. So camera, so it's like, for example, here, I'm using my scroll pad to control where it is right now. I'm going to zoom in it a bit, like this.
So
and then, yeah. So now if I add a keyframe,
so you can use different camera positions as distinct keyframes.
yeah, right. And then I turn this forward.
I mean, that's amazing. There are so many different things you could change between one keyframe and
Yeah, right. And you could always like group them together for like further effects. And I think that actually wraps up for the tutorial part of today. And just feel free to leave any further questions, and Vanessa would be hosting the rest of the part for today for us. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you so much, Christina. We think that you're killing it. So this will be our Q&A sessions. You can open your mic and ask us any questions relating to us. Oh, I think Elisa has raised her hand. Christina, oh yeah.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, Christina, for sharing. Like, I'm really looking forward to using Dora in the future. So I just have a few questions. And the first one is, I believe most users don't like to build their websites completely from scratch. So does Dora have any template features for us to build on top of?
Oh, thank you, Lisa. For now, we don't have the template feature, but you can get the whole complete case products through the copy feature. Moreover, on the project management page, you can click Study Cases tab to quickly view the case project. Yeah, and we plan to support all kinds of templates in the future. Yeah, we are working on it. We know that the template feature is very important. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Elisa, for the questions. Does anyone else has questions with us? And I guess I can move on to the next sessions. Just a friendly reminder that we have the website challenge, where if you like recreate Christina designs on Discord, there will be like a grand prize, and the deadline will be the 3rd of March. So you can submit your website by sharing the link and tag the challenge channel on our Discord server, and or maybe you can share on social media. Oh, I think Elisa have another questions here. I'm sorry. Wait, let me finish this.
Yeah, I have a few more questions. Sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
Sure. Yeah.
So I noticed during the demo, some of the tools feels a bit lagging. So are there any solutions for this?
Oh, thank
probably
you,
a
Lisa. Yeah. The experiments of smoothness and effect is what we are most concerned about, and we are working on it and trying our best to reduce the load wait time and of the published web page. We also try to increase the frame rate in the editor to make the experiment smoother. Yeah, we are working on it because
Right,
we have
sense.
lots of assets and 3D assets, so we are working on it. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And also I noticed there's a data tab. So what is that exactly?
Oh, yeah, we are not mentioning it at this workshop, but Dora can display the data in any way you want, just like the content management system. For more information and tutorial, I will post a link as a chat panel. You can check it. Yeah.
Great, thanks. And last question. So I'm a bit confused with view W and view H. Could you clarify that a bit more?
Yep. As for the letter V refer to viewport. It is a viewport of the Windows. When using Chrome, the viewport is the actual visual area of the web page. If you drag the edge of the browser, you will change the size of the window as well as viewport. And for W refer to width. 100 VW means the width of the viewport, as well as H is referred to height, and 100 VH means the height of the viewport. For example, the size of viewport is 1920 by 1080p. So 100 VW is equal to 1920. 1920, yeah. And where VW and VW unit, you can build the layout to fit the different size of the viewport. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Charles, for clarifying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Elisa,
So
for asking.
I might need to add on something about the templates. So I'm gonna share my screen for a little bit about that. Okay, so for you guys to know, Dora has a feature you can like copy projects from here. Like you can go to the open in editor and there is gonna be the copy projects button, and you can definitely just duplicate the project into your own, and you can build from the top websites instead of from scratch if you want. Okay, so Crystal just sent the link to the chat box. So if you guys want to have the top websites, let's go for it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Vanessa, may
personally,
continue. Yeah.
really helped me learn, like just playing around with these really helped me learn the basics of Dora as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, just say this is the challenge we'll be having. And that's it for today's workshop. We'll be having another 30 minutes optional if you want to stay here to finish your project. And our team will also be here during this time to answer your questions in the chat box. But thank you so much again. Don't forget to join our social media. You can scan the code right here and to check out the recording for today's workshop. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your time. Yeah. Christina, I think we can open the setting where everyone can open their mics. So like if they wanted to finish their project, we can know if they have questions.
Yeah, sure. I have just changed the setting, so feel free to open your mic and ask any questions.